Well, hello people, and welcome back to part 66 of Orchid Bay. I hope you're having a wonderful day. Today we are actually east of Sharon because we want to start expanding out towards the edge of the map here. And the city actually has a bit of education demand today, so we're going to throw in another campus. Actually made it to 88, pretty much 90,000 people, only with one campus, which is pretty crazy, and it shows the kind of scale of the campus DLC. We'll also be taking a little bit of inspiration from Chicago's Lake Drive for this part of the city, as we have done before down the couplet towards the downtown. But either way, today here we are just going to rework the rail lines to give a little bit more room to the town, and we'll also do some fun Park and Brooklyn and Queens stuff today. And also a quick happy birthday to Maher Ali. Your wonderful girlfriend reached out to me on Instagram, bro. Thank you for all the support on the channel. I'm glad you enjoyed the videos, and I hope you had a spicy day, my friend. And let's get some quick happy birthdays down in the comments to Maher as well. Hope you had a good day, mate. But either way, please enjoy the rework time lapse, and then we'll get into the build, shall we? So guys, for the first time, we're going to be playing with this bit of coast today. So we haven't been down here for a long time since we did Sharon's Fishing Marina. And previously, for bits of this road, especially down here towards this bit of the couplet, sort of slip system here, and we had a lot of success with this interchange, so we might look at implementing something a bit further down. But for this whole area, Chicago's Lake Drive has proven to be a real fantastic point of inspiration, and we're actually going to be taking a look at the Museum of Science and Industry in Chicago today to start introducing what is going to become, I guess, a little university town over the course of a few episodes, because there's a significant space to fill here, and it just so happens that we are about to dip into the yellow with our university demand, and of course, I will always find an excuse to build campus. We absolutely love the campuses, and I think that a liberal arts college might go well here, or I guess we could use, although we have, I guess, used some of this already, some of the administration building stuff, but yeah, I think we're going to go with the liberal arts today. And you may also remember, way back over here, we originally, once upon a time, wanted to extend a monorail down from this way. So I think today we're going to do that as well. Let's snap into our grid. So this one comes out of the terminal down here. And I'd love to set up another line that's going to pick people up now, because remember when we placed this asset, the monorail wasn't working on it, it was bugged, wasn't it? So let's bring this down. Now what are we going to be like crossing over this elevated cycleway, because I'm pretty sure this is going to give us some issues. We kind of need to map out where we want this monorail to go first. So it's essentially going to follow the cycle highway for the most part, I think. And I guess to get over it, we're going to have to elevate by quite a significant distance, I think. So it's at that height there we can cross over. But this should be really cool. I imagine this is going to be named after our title today. Maybe how our perfect purple people mover allowed us to establish a new town is probably today's title. Something along those sorts of lines. So let's incrementally come down here, otherwise this is going to be full-on roller coaster vibes. So we want it to maintain one segment, which we can see is just there. So let's come down by one step, we'll do another full segment, and then come back down, and then this will leave it at the same level as this one here. Now we can have this big monorail. We're going to get some really sweet layers here, right, when this whole intersection's flowing and moving around. That's going to be a tremendous amount of fun. So we can run through here, then again we're going to have to prepare it. It'd be really cool. No, we're not going to be able to do it, are we? No. Need anarchy for that. So I guess in that case then, it has to maintain at that elevation. Let's make sure that we come over here, and let's go for no angle snap here as well. We just want to clear that bridge again, which is going to give us more really cool layers, isn't it? So to get this town started today, I'd like to develop a roundabout here. That's probably going to emerge out the other side eventually as a bit of a couplet system, I imagine. Probably reverting back to the couplet on this side. Because it's going to carry on down the coastline, probably with another interchange into the back end of the town once it exists. And then finally we'll probably round out this side of the map with another highway exit. That gets people onto this couplet, which of course now goes all the way down right into the city centre, should they so wish. Where there is a bit of a death wave at the minute, hopefully there's people that will be getting picked up. But either way, let's establish this roundabout. So we'll grab ourselves some 3-lane one-way roads and we'll go for... See, how deep do we want to come here? Go for 280, I don't want it to be an enormous roundabout. Cool, so we'll have this sit here. Let's brace the roundabout as well, because I do want to have a couple exit this side, I guess. So we'll go back down to probably just 2-lane. I guess we could do 3-lane, I suppose. We've got the roads for it now, haven't we? Let's bring up this one as a guideline so we know that we're snapping straight onto it. We'll also snap into the grid of this one with the couplet as it approaches the roundabout. Something like that. And then we'll just curve this in, hopefully, without too many issues. Let's go for about there, I think. And same thing again this side. Cool. And then I think out the other side now we can just have a regular road connection in. Just come out on our angle snap. But either way, that does allow us to re-establish the couplet system, which we always love. Super trusty. Good. Does a decent job of controlling traffic as well. Now we can plan many junctions off of this as well, as it continues to integrate itself into the town. Cool. So this is now a much more sort of traffic efficient way around, isn't it, I think? Much happier with this. We'll bring the monorail into the build once we get some university assets placed at least. So again, just glancing back to our Chicago inspiration, I definitely want to set back our university building here. So let's see just how much room we're playing with here. I'd love to really embank that rail. There we go. That's going to be quite a key feature of the town, I think, isn't it? Again, just happy accident that the inspiration from Chicago also features a rail line here as well, which is really helpful for just sort of positioning and designing those networks in. Cool. So from snap into our grid, say from here down to there is 240, so about 120 is going to be our halfway point there, isn't it? Let's mark that one. And then I think we'll do 720 either side of that. Yeah, that gives us enough breathing room against that train line there as well. Which again, I imagine now we're establishing a new town. Probably wants a new train station plop in here as well, doesn't it? We'll have a look at that in a second. I want to leave a big kind of green lawn space right up front here. And then I want to place in my main building, which is going to fit exactly in there. I always enjoy letting you guys name the campuses as well, so please do drop some name suggestions down below for this particular campus. I'll push this out here. And again, I imagine this isn't one we're going to get to level 5 either. Let's just have a little glance back at prepare to farm. What did this one hit? It's essentially level 5, isn't it? It just needs its final campus attractiveness, which we probably should do actually, because that's going to give us the museum, which is definitely an asset I want to play with. So essentially we have one level 5 campus at 88,000 population, and it's now got to the point we need another one. So I'm really happy to start playing with this sort of idea. So let's first of all just get the campus established. Like I said, I don't think this one's going to go to level 5, and even if it does, it's going to be a very slow burn, because we did prepare to farm, what, in episode 6? Something like that. And it's now just hit level 5, barely. We're on part 66 today. 60 episodes later. Okay, so let's talk about some positionings, right? These dorms are always good assets, and of course are pretty crucial for generating a university vibe. But again, I think positioning in terms we can have them. Let's go for the back end of them, and then we'll twist their orientation to face into the campus. There's actually a massive park here in Chicago. We're not going for an exact replication, but I think certainly factoring in some kind of enormous park space into the campus itself That would be a pretty cool design to go with. I think we'll try and run with that. It looks like we can maybe centralize something right out the back here with everything kind of facing into a central park space. I think that'd be quite cool. So see here it's distance to 180. Let's get that replicated over this side. We'll bring that up as well and keep all these pathways running with one another. Again, we'll also bring this one in as a border so we know where to place our dome against. That's perfect. Let's get 2 of these in. These don't increase education, do they? These are just attractiveness and student capacity. Oh no, yeah, there we go. Yeah, we are getting small amounts of availability. That should do for right now. Don't want to overdo it on the dorms. We shouldn't have too many other buildings more to play with now, actually. We do, of course, have the School of Education, which is a real chungus, isn't it? This is a big, important building. I'd love to have this factored. Maybe at the head of the park space here would be quite cool, right? I almost kind of want to repurpose this away from being a university, almost like it is perhaps just a general institute for study or some kind of museum or some kind of place of science rather than it being kind of a public school. I guess we'll sort of see what vibe develops with it. Cool, and again I'd love to have that centered, but I'm going to try use some pathways on it to make sure we are centered. Yeah, there we go, that's perfect. So right in between those 2 pathways. It's going to be perfectly centered against the school. And I guess one day we will actually unlock a fountain, hopefully not too far away. Is that the first fountain there? Yeah, recognized. That's the second stage, isn't it? So we will get a fountain in the second stage, which will be good. We'll have to wait for that to happen. And then the study hall here as well, which of course is where students with spare time can use the study hall to do their homework, projects, or prepare to exams. It's never not going to be funny, is it? You see, we don't get that sort of stuff in CS2. really miss the days of prepare to exams. What a time to be alive it was, everyone. Cool, so let's have the study hall. Let's flip that around, then we can delete this back pathway. Cool. Now what does that get us to in terms of attractiveness? Plenty of attractiveness. So let's go ahead and get that first academic work commissioned. And that should be fine. Oh, it's already done it. that was easy enough, wasn't it? And already the students straight in immediately as well. Okay then. So let's just go ahead and spam down a bunch of this stuff. Yeah, that gets it to well over that one, doesn't it? Let's go ahead and reduce it a little bit. We'll move the groundskeeping and we'll just have the drama club. I guess let's say bring some tree-lined roads over this way and we'll have our drama club sit. And that should give us the attractiveness for level 2. Yeah, wonderful. So if we'll wait for those other assets to come in at the end of the academic year, which will be fine, but hopefully over time this is just going to evolve again into just kind of a... In Chicago, it is just a museum of science and industry. So maybe we can just make it Orchid Bay's Museum of Art and Carnivorous Deer, maybe. All the things that Orchid Bay is known for. But I love its positioning, I'm really happy with that. Just a couple of things I want to change with the roads. I'd love to have some just grass line in there, and then we'll change this into... Fancy a tree, perhaps a silver birch? I feel like I haven't used silver birch for a long time. I don't get access to this tree in Thessia because of the theme, so I only ever get to play with it in Orchid Bay. But either way, I like that. I think that's pretty cool. So I'd love to actually establish, you know, a town, because this is a university town, or I guess a museum town now if we're repurposing this into becoming a museum. And I'd love to reflect a little bit of the symmetry here, not to the full depth, I guess we could go for it. What is it, 960? Let's go for half of that. Let's go for about 480, I think. I don't want it to be the full depth like the other side was. And then I think here, I'm keen to run some Brooklyn and Queens patterns to essentially function as what could be interpreted as sort of student housing, I guess. But I'm just keen on some blocks here, so let's go for 20 units in the blocks, which is going to be there. And then we can feed this down into our arterial system now that comes out of the of Sharon's port. Again, we'll maintain those 20 units. Let's bring it down to this side. make sure we maintain those whole grids, which now I'm playing with it since the first time really that CS2 came out, is significantly easier, isn't it, to maintain a whole grid. Again, I'd love to switch the angle here if we can, and probably need to push back a little bit of this terrain here. I'm happy to have the houses and the apartments quite close to the train line. Something like that. Again, we'll give the connection back in, just wherever it seems appropriate. Cool, and let's say we can do one more up this way. Bring that back down into there, and then we'll probably have another connection down there as well. Fabulous. Let's give this a district as well so we can get some Brooklyns and Queens buildings in it. So we'll go for Brooklyn and Queens there. Absolutely wonderful. At this point, actually, I'd love a bit of mixed use, but it doesn't exist in CS1, sorry, so we'll have to get used to that. And yeah, let's save up these big batches here. Probably do want a specific zone, a lot of this stuff. I guess we haven't really kind of played with zoning with Brooklyn and Queens, have we? So I think it'll be interesting just to see how it behaves if we do try and do some different zoning techniques with it and just see what we can generate, because I think just because it's one of the newer expansions, it just hasn't been experimented with as much, has it? So let's go for it. We got some of these bigger blocks here. And then of course these guys are actually going to want a reason to live out here, so let's give them a football field. I'd love to have this. Have this maybe part of the campus actually. No, I think we'll move it over here. I am happy to have it here though. And then we can use all these little pathways that come off it as an excuse to decorate it. There's also some pretty significant park spaces up near Chicago as well. Now we did something really cool over here, and I love what we did with the wavy keys. It added a really different vibe into a park space, didn't it? Especially up against the waterfront here. So I'd be keen to try something like that again, maybe. If not, just actually terraform a bit of a park head out into the land, so it's not this kind of boring flat coast all the time. So why don't we grab the same layer of height as the land here, and then we'll push this up and just create a bit of a park shape that we can see in Chicago. We'll kind of push this up. Then I don't kind of come too close to the shipping lanes or anything like that, just a bit of a green mass where we can place some assets, a couple of pathways and whatnot. Get some people walking again along this waterfront. And we can remove the trees here now too, and let's also get that monorail station set up as well while we're here. Where are we going to put the monorail station? That's the first question we need to answer, isn't it? We could do one on the road, which then would allow us to feed the monorail in between the couplet system across the roundabout, wouldn't it? Might be a pretty unique aesthetic, so let's explore it while we're talking about it. If we were to connect this one to there, something like that, and then we were to continue this one. Now I don't really know where exactly this monorail is going to go. So what I will do is line it up with the middle of the grid beforehand. So we're somewhere about here. And we'll have that there. It can come straight down the middle like so. Let's go ahead and connect that monorail road back into the roundabout. And hopefully if it wants to play fair, that's a simple hello people. I guess we can maintain the hierarchy as it goes through that way. And then we can knock this back a little bit. We're going to have to upgrade some of these roads to be monorail, of course. And I really don't know what the best practice is for blending in these two styles here. That is a really ugly connection, isn't it? As we can sort of straighten it out by deleting the bend that generates in with it. But that does allow us to maintain the monorail, so let's get it flowing. It's going to come right the way down here. It might be worth adding a stop down here at some point. But then again, this is all served by buses and trains and cycle lanes, so I think another method of public transport isn't particularly necessary on this stop. If anything, it's just a big long haul sort of express line right down into what is currently called Moore Square, isn't it? Let's give that one a line anyway. So this monorail line 1 is downtown to LAX airport, isn't it? So we'll name that one here. And this one we'll do downtown to just call it Science Town for right now whilst it's unnamed. Again, as a reminder, don't forget to get those name suggestions for this area down below. Wonderful. And I think because of what we said at the start of the episode, this has to be purple. Because this is our perfect purple people mover, isn't it? Is there any more P's I can get in there? I think that's pretty much it, isn't it? But this should have a really cool commute. Let's just sort of head down the line together, shall we? See what it's like. It's a little bit wonky there. Probably need to straighten it out a touch. I think the aesthetic of kind of higher elevated monorail is quite cool, you know? Adds a very futuristic vibe into the sort of city's public transport, doesn't it? Some of these trees need to be moved though. We are flying through some of the oaks. That is really cool. Love seeing this commute back into the city. And of course, this links them up with all the other transport hubs as well, doesn't it? Wonder how it's going to handle. I was just thinking that. So, how is this going to handle multiple stops coming in? And the answer to that question is it isn't going to handle it because it's all going to back up, isn't it? Is it not going to behave like trains? I guess it's not. In that case, then we must include a new monorail stop because that one cannot flow into that space. If we were to come across here, can we create like an intersection? Distance is too short. Yeah, okay, let's just move this crematorium elsewhere for right now. Let me delete this, and we'll just have a little bit of a rejig of the configuration over here. I would like to keep the crematorium here because it's obviously providing a pretty important service for the downtown. So let's have this monorail station come down this way, and my hope is that we can have some sort of junction here that cuts across. Is that going to be okay? And then can we drag that line so it crisscrosses the existing monorail rather than docking into the same port as it, if that's going to make any sort of sense? It seemed that would fix our problem, wouldn't it? Okay. And it looks as though there's now new opportunities for these little path patterns to extend out, for which will allow that to happen. Just keep this space nice and walkable. Cool. So that does allow us to maintain another monorail line here, which hopefully, yep, is already getting a little bit of use. That's very nice, isn't it? Interesting to see just how the AI prefers to now navigate the stretch of the city, won't it? Whether or not it chooses road, cycling, buses, or monorail. We will wait and see, of course. Everyone in Karen's unhappy. I'm not surprised. Horrendous place to live. But we are now getting in some of that residential, aren't we? Fantastic. Wonderful. Zone at the rest of that as well. Where we can. Let's go for big swaths of it like that. I'd love a little bit of high density over here. Don't want it to be totally flat. Which I think I'd like to explore a bit of high density commercial. There are some nicer assets within this pool. Although I'd love to soften this one out a little bit here. Yeah, let's just get some 4 deeps in. I imagine we're going to want the kind of the smaller selection of assets, but we'll see what comes in for the time being here. And we did also mention a train station as well, didn't we? So let's come on to angle and road length. We'll feed this probably up and behind the campus actually. Just keep this going. If we need to remove the embankment to factor in a station, then I think we will do. Just going to make the most sense, I think, isn't it, for applying a station there. Don't want it over here. It's going to be way too loud for the residential people. Let's give them some more parks as well. Dog park is the old faithful, isn't it? Let's get a dog park on the corner. I'd love some of these parks as well, where we can factor them in. That's that appropriate for here? Feel like it possibly isn't. This pond park, but I suppose we can work it in, especially if we're going to have the Brooklyn and Queens residential backing up onto the train line as well, which we definitely are going to do, because we've got the zoning tiles for it. I think we can surround that and also have some next door to it as well. That'd be quite nice. Cool. So look at absolute jeepers, look at that, everyone. It's a busy train, isn't it? Where's this one? Sharon to downtown. Wow, look at that. Crazy. Absolutely well busy. People cannot wait to get into Sharon. Or out, I guess. I think it depends on who you ask, doesn't it? Well, it looks like the 240 capacity train is no longer adequate then in that case, so I think we'll upgrade to a 400 capacity commuter train, because that's just insanely busy, isn't it? How many people are coming through this hub now? 3,200 in a week. Absolutely insane. I'm never not going to be happy with this transport hub, everyone. I almost want to start a new vanilla build just so I can partner this with the big underground metro plaza. I think you could just generate some truly ridiculous walking porn by building a transport hub like that. Maybe a time for another sort of Cities 1 end game or DLC super mega ridiculous transport hub build might be fun. I bet that would look pretty crazy now, wouldn't it? But it has to be said, I'm really enjoying the addition of that higher elevated monorail line in, right? That's added quite a bit to the coastline, I think. I'm pretty happy with it. Cool, so let's add some facility into our little park head here before we move into kind of a grander detail and time-lapse for the area. For some reason, I'm envisioning a baseball field on this little park area. So, I mean, yeah, that's pretty much exactly what I had in mind. Yeah, just a baseball field that looks out towards the water. You see the city from here as well. I'm pretty happy with that, perfect. I love some parking with this as well, so let's dive into the wonderful world of vanilla car parks. And we can't have one there, can we? But I think I do want a bit of back-to-back parking, so let's just correct that positioning. Yeah, I think the double parking's a little too much, so why don't we just keep it to that one there. And airport apron in the middle. I should probably see through that little gap. Would like that to remain concrete if we can. But if not, let's do a little tree line in between it actually. Let's do a couple of live oaks. That should be good. And then definitely want a little sort of tree line that hugs the ridge here. Again, we're taking big inspiration from Promontory Point here. And just want the tree line to essentially run with the coast and back to those lines there. And then I reckon some larger rocks around here as well would be pretty cool. Yeah, stuff like this. Different rock decals where we can get them in. Maybe some larger rock formations as well, not too much though. Don't want to become an insanely rocky coastline. That should give us a pretty cool park down there as well, shouldn't it? Getting some density in the commercial group here as well now, which is pretty cool. Let's give these guys some services before we head towards a detail and time-lapse for the start of this town. Yeah, the academic year still hasn't passed there either. But let's get a fire station in. I could possibly go for high capacity. I feel like I'd like some density over here, you know. I don't just want it to be another sort of low-rise town. How about if we partnered our fire station there just along the coast? Would that be alright? Let's bring that one in as well. Tuck it in. I do like the high capacity fire stations. Yeah, again, you can almost repurpose that as if it's some kind of office space right on the waterfront there. That's part of the park. Because it doesn't particularly scream fire station, the high capacity one, does it? And then again with police, let's see what we can give here. Maybe we can partner this with our monorail station over here. Much look at that as well. Already getting a little bit busy, that, isn't it? That is what we like to see. Is there any nearby bus hubs here as well? I realise we're just kind of falling further and further down a public transport rabbit hole. Those new trains do seem to be making a dent in the backlog of passengers that are awaiting Sharon. Good God, it's insanely busy, that, isn't it? 717, yeah, that's got to be this station. Wow, that's really cool. See, properly functioning and efficient sort of bus networks and stuff, train networks even. Look at that. It's not even remotely clearing the platform, is it? 902 through. Good job we upgraded this station as well, wasn't it? Because this was just a single platform before. It had to accommodate the trains out to Denise over here. How's this one doing? Yeah, 182. Decent amount of people commuting from Denise back to Sharon as well. Anyway, I'm here to find buses. Let's go. Yeah, so we got plenty of spare bus platforms on this intercity station in Sharon. So let's go ahead and find a cool place where a bus could stop. I think we'll use pedestrian roads for this. Let's just do... yeah, this one's fine. We'll bring this right up to the roundabout. We can connect it in with the pitch. Have a little kind of bus transfer hub here. So this is fine. Come and stop in and around. Oh, are we getting that stupid map bug again? Oh, we are, aren't we? This is some of the most irritating Cities 1 stuff. Really like this about Cities 2, that the outside connections aren't just stupid, you know? It's just a symptom we're going to have to deal with, I think, isn't it? Nuclear power plant's flooding again. It's okay though. We'll deal with this in a second. Let's do the bus first. So you'll stop here. You can then stop on the main street again outside of all these people. Cross the roundabout and then just come and stop straight into Sharon. That's no problem at all. And then where would be the best way for you to get back across? There's no crossing here, so I guess it's back down this side, isn't it? Yeah, that's fine then to stop here. We'll just have a little shuttle line there, which we will again name to keep on top of this. It's this one here, so this is going to be Sharon to Science Town, which again will be renamed once you guys decide what it's called. Fabulous. Let's get those silver birches back implemented as well. So we respect this big kind of open part design where we'll do some detailing here as well with pathways and whatnot. But otherwise, a really nice expansion. And a good point to do some detailing. We're going to see if we can fix this stupid train traffic. We'll see if we can do something with the edge of the map. Lots more forest boundary props in these spaces where applicable. And some trees and whatnot around our sort of science centre. If you guys have any ideas of what this could be as well, please do let us know down in the comments below. And a little bit more high density commercial as well, because that there is a perfect asset. Nice. Did we zone up this space? Yes we do, they're just not growing here. I guess maybe they want some more parks. I'll fix some of these gradients as well. Either way, I am now officially rambling, so let's do some detailing. And then we'll be right back. Okay guys, let's have a little detailing review, shall we? So there's some really nice new sightlines that have opened up. I'm quite a keen fan, if I may say so myself, of the view down to the industrial bridge, looking back toward the kind of main inner city downtown over there, right? But we do have some commercial lining the roads now. Also got our Brooklyn and Queens part in as well. Again, with carefully chosen assets, and our little park point is situated really nicely here now with some forest. There's also a little gazebo in here as well, so this young lady right here can enjoy a very obscured view to the downtown because there's trees in the way now. But oh well, it's still nice. Then we have that baseball pitch, of course, with some parking up to our high capacity fire station. There's some commercial through here. Some prop and park work in between all the Brooklyn and Queens just to create some communal space, simple, detailed playgrounds. I mean, I had a ton of fun with this one. Really miss props after just played so much CS2 recently. It's just so nice, you know, what a difference just essentially a couple of bits of wood can make to a city, right? Who would have guessed that? But either way, you've also got some plot parts across the street as well, also switching their decals to the outdoor gym sort of skin, if you like, or decal, I guess. Further up, we also have this all linked in now. Let's have a little look at our numbers, shall we, on the monorail. 201 through the station, and the line is getting a decent amount of use. So that's really nice having that kind of long haul line back into the downtown centre now, isn't it? I know it's fun to use some monorail as well, of course. It's not overly often we see a monorail, so it's always nice to appreciate it when it does arrive. Looking back toward the district, we can see that we have removed a little bit of the Brooklyn and Queens district to accommodate some vanilla zoning. I wanted some different looking buildings facing towards this inner plaza. They're just regular high density residential. I think they broke up a little bit of the Brooklyn and Queens pattern quite nicely, I think. In front of the university building, just lots of path lining and path work where it would have made sense for people to cross. And then our little high density zoning on the edge of town here is quite nicely laid out now. We are still having the train traffic. I've tried to run one parallel, so trains coming in can take that one, but it's just yeah, it's just simply a volume issue. I imagine this is being made significantly worse by the dummy train traffic and the fact that they don't leave the map, they have to stop and come through, which is a real shame to have this problem. If anything, we might need to just go ahead and add a couple more of our own outside connections using a mod if we're just suffering a volume problem. It's really annoying, but it is vanilla CS, so there's not a lot we can do about it unless we head to the workshop, but not causing any major issues. It's just stuff heading out the map, getting a bit backlogged, so we can deal with it for the most part. And then we also have some car parking around that commercial that we looked at a second ago, with some tennis courts under here as well. Pretty cool playing tennis as the trains go by. I think looking to a little bit of that midtown up there. And it has turned into a little bit of a midtown. It's nice to see some density over here. I was kind of expecting this map to remain a little bit more rural, but it is turning out quite nicely. And then through the university itself, which has kind of turned into almost like a just single building within itself. I don't think we'll take it much bigger than this. We'll probably repurpose some of the assets once it gets a few higher levels, just as things to use in this part of the town. But I'm pretty happy with the university this size, and it's taken us up to a good amount of capacity just by placing in these buildings, so I think we'll leave it at that for the most part, I think. But we did replace the pathway with tree-lined pathways and then switch them out for a mixture of wild hedge, lindens and oaks in a kind of hierarchy pattern descending around the campus. And then we also realigned the grid using the classic Cities 1 technique to align a pond in the campus itself, which I think was quite a nice addition out front of the School of Education. This helps detail our street quite nicely here. And then we just wrapped up with the road, and we'll definitely just expand this town as things move, I guess, eastward is this side of the map, isn't it? And also provided another connection over here as well. So all in all, a really fun sort of build today, and a really nice addition onto the coastline of Orchid Bay. But otherwise, guys, that is going to do it for today. I'd like to thank you all so much for watching. If you've enjoyed it, likes, comments and shares below really do help me out. And we are smashing up to 100,000 subscribers, so please, if you are finding yourself coming back to the channel to watch the videos, then please do consider subscribing. I don't usually like to ask for subscribers, but we're in this final push now, and if you are coming back, then, you know, please do consider it. Otherwise, a really nice part of Orchid Bay, and we'll definitely continue just slowly crawling down the coast here with new designs and buildings, and I'm probably continuing to take quite a bit of inspiration from Chicago's Lake Drive for this part of the city, not a major metropolitan centre, but I'm more than happy to have some sort of civilization here. I don't just want to do rural towns for the rest of Orchid Bay. And always nice, of course, to see monorail make an appearance, isn't it? Massive shout out to all the patrons helping to support the channel. With a special roll call to Felix Wilkinson. Thank you for everything you do, guys. It always makes these videos possible. And thank you for the continued support on Cities 1. Again, to help me justify making these videos, the likes and the comments really go a long way to helping these Cities 1 videos do well against the barrage of Cities 2 content that's out there at the minute. So if you want to continue to see Cities 1, please do leave that engagement down below. Otherwise, I'd like to thank you all so much for watching. And as always, enjoy the rest of your day.